Coming up, I think we're going to do a little what's cooking. I don't know what's on the menu either. Oh, well, it must include avocados. That looks pretty good. You and I will find out together. Coming up. Okay, I've done some research, and I now know what's cooking on this Wednesday. Patricia Jennings joins us once again. She's from the Mexican Cultural Institute. It is good to see you.
Good to see you, Holly. I don't have margaritas for you today.
I'm sorry, this What's Cooking segment is over. No, I'm just kidding. She is going to be doing a ceviche for us today, which is also something I love.
I am, Holly, because it's getting so hot. I wanted to make something that would help us jump right into summer.
And it's nice, a refreshing dish, isn't it?
It's refreshing, it's luscious, and just the sound of the name ceviche sounds so exotic that if you make it for your friends, they're going to think you worked really hard at it, and the truth is, easy.
We didn't.
It's easy.
But we can fool them.
Yeah.
That's right. And what fish will you be using for the ceviche?
Fresh mackerel.
Oh, okay. And that's not too fishy, right?
It's not too fishy, and you can substitute it for any meaty saltwater fish like halibut or grouper or striped bass.
Okay, so those are our options there. And my other question is, how do you know when an avocado's ripe?
Well, you have to feel confident to go to the supermarket and grab it and try to mush it a little. If it gives in a little, it's ready. If your fingers go all the way in, then you don't want to bring it home.
Then it's over-ripened.
Right,
okay.
But the skin has to be dark, and it just has to give in a little.
Okay, and if it doesn't give it all, then obviously it has some time, right? You can still buy them. How long until it would be ready?
So you buy them, you bring them home, you put them in a paper bag, and you keep them in a warm area in your home or in your kitchen for about 3 to 4 days.
Oh, 3 to 4 days. So that's pretty long.
So that's
and then wait to see till you feel if it's going to give.
Right, and once it's ripe, just stick it in your refrigerator.
All right. So see, that's our first tip. But we're going to have many more coming up in a little bit. Today with Patricia Jennings from the Mexican Cultural Institute, where you give cooking classes.
Exactly.
So you're a perfect person for us to have on today and to teach us how to do this. So where do we begin?
So we have the fresh mackerel fillets. And you can substitute it, as we said, with some other meaty saltwater fish. But the most important thing about your fish ceviche, Holly, is the fish has to be fresh.
So how do we know? I mean, I know that every place that you go and buy it says, oh, yeah, it's fresh. We just got it in. But how do you really know it's fresh?
There's 2 easy ways to tell. Okay. One is it has to have a good appearance. It's got to look good. It shouldn't have brown edges or discoloration around the edges. It shouldn't be watery, spongy, mushy. It should be moist and firm. Okay. A little bit shiny. And the second way to tell is smell. It's going to sound like a joke, but your fish should not smell fishy.
Exactly.
So if you smell it, because food smells just like a slightly saltwater smell, because food should transport you to places. So when you smell it, your mind should go to like a beautiful sandy beach and not to something shady.
Gotcha. And if it smells fishy, it's shady.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, so we have our fresh fish.
So we have our fresh fish, and then we're going to chop it. You have 2 options. You can either chop it with a very sharp knife along with your carrots, or you can put it in the food processor, which is faster, it's easier, and you only need to pulse, a couple of times.
Right.
It's fun to pulse. Don't go wild with the pulsing. Because we want to get no wild pulsing. Because
not on this vacation. That's a different vacation.
we want to get some finely chopped fish. You don't want to have a fish paste.
Gotcha.
And then we're going to marinate it in some freshly squeezed lime juice.
Okay.
Now, I love to give my students at the Mexican Cultural Institute, I love to give them shortcuts when cooking. But you can't use the pre-squeezed lime juice.
You can't?
I mean,
and why not?
You can, you can, but I don't recommend it. No, it's the difference, Holly, between having fish, a ceviche that tastes like you ate it at the beachside, and airline food. And with all due respect to the airlines, because they do a wonderful job flying us around the world, but I don't think they do such a great job feeding us while
What airlines are you flying that you still even get food? Because most of them, they don't even serve it anymore. Okay, all right, so fresh lime juice.
So fresh lime juice, and marinating the fish in fresh lime juice is going to do 2 things for our fish. It's going to flavor it, and it's going to cook it without heat. So a lot of people are concerned about eating raw fish.
Right.
But if it comes from a reputable source and it's fresh, it's cooking in the citrus juice, so you shouldn't have any worries. And then after you marinate it, it takes like about half an hour to an hour outside of the refrigerator for the fish to cook.
Oh,
with no
okay.
heat. And then it's going to look like this. So the color changed. See?
Right.
You're going to drain it. There's the
Yeah.
before. And then after half an hour, you're going to drain it, and it looks like this.
Gotcha.
And then we're just going to add the rest of our ingredients.
Which are?
And what we have here is some chopped jalapeno pepper. And I wanted to tell you the difference between the jalapeno and the serrano peppers, because many people get confused.
Right.
Because sometimes the serrano pepper comes larger and sometimes the jalapeno comes smaller.
Right.
The jalapeno is chubbier, fatter, rounder, and it has a milder flavor and it's not so spicy.
Right.
The serrano, which is my favorite, is thinner and it's smaller, but it has a deeper and more concentrated flavor and it's much more spicier.
It's going to give you more punch.
Exactly.
Right.
So whichever one you use, if you want to pump down the heat,
So
just
if you're a
take-
girl, use the jalapeno. If you're a man, use the serrano.
I think I'd rather use a little bit of these than
As opposed to a
lot of
whole
that.
lot of jalapeno.
Right.
Gotcha.
So here I have some chopped chilies and I'm going to add it. And then you can add, you can start adding a little bit and see if you want to take more heat or not.
Right.
And then we're going to add some chopped white onion. We typically use white onion in Mexican cooking.
As opposed to like a yellow or a sweet onion.
or red.
Or red, gotcha.
So we're going to add some chopped white onion. And then we're going to add, this gives it a nice, like tangy crunch. And then we're going to add some chopped fresh cilantro, which has a very unique,
cilantro.
it's a little bit pungent.
Right.
And it goes very well with the fish. So we're going to add some fresh cilantro, and then we're gonna, for a little bit of depth of flavor, we're gonna add some dried oregano.
Ooh. Wow, that's funny. I wouldn't think of oregano in Mexican food, huh?
We use so much oregano.
Really? I
Yeah.
always associate that with Italian. All right,
Yeah.
listen, she's going to finish whipping that up. MyFoxTC.com is our website. We have the recipe online if you want to try to do your own ceviche at home. We're going to taste it up when we come back. Stay with us. You're watching Midday. Thanks to Patricia Jennich from the Mexican Cultural Institute. Her last little ingredient that she added to the ceviche was a little bit of salt, right? And so now you're showing us several different ways to try it.
Right. One way is to put it in large tostadas, which is the typical way that they'll do it in Puerto Vallarta around lunchtime. And you can also serve it as an appetizer in the little round tostadas. You have so many kinds of chips. You have round, or you can put the ceviche here, in here,
Oh, yeah.
in a
Whoa,
bowl,
whoa, whoa.
and then
nice.
have
Isn't
people
that
just
lovely?
dig in.
And you were saying that this
the
is something
chips.
that you could eat as early as brunch.
Right.
You guys ready to try?
Right.
Let's try. Try.
This is going to break on me.
Yeah.
I just had a bite. It's good.
You can make it as spicy as you want to.
It is so good.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is
really
good.
You good?
What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Isn't
it's
it
very
good?
good.
And they were a
Very
little
good.
skeptical of the raw fish.
Oh, but it's
see?
good.
I was,
It's
but I
good.
like it.
Thank you all. Thanks,
a good
Patricia, for joining us. Thank you guys for watching.